Hey, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to another video of this new project that we are working on. Still got no name, so it's not possible to say welcome to whatever. Let me close the transcript now. I'm sharing my screen. And in one of the previous videos, I already showed you the way to upload a picture and to tag the picture if you see the picture in my photos. Well, at this moment, we have just one picture, so the pictures that were here are deleted again because it's only for testing purposes at this moment. But what I showed you is that if you click on the picture, you can start adding the tags. And we've done some updates already. We had a few possible items or objects, whatever you call it, and a few materials and a few brands. But we, or I in this case, created all the brands that I find or have found in the last couple of years. So I do a lot of registration myself, and whenever possible, I try to also add the brands that I find on my items. So I have a list of all the brands that I found in the last couple of years, and I've added them to this list of the brands. So whenever Dutch people are starting to use the app, they probably have all the brands they need because, well, I guess I found all brands there are, at least 98% of them, I guess. But of course, people from other countries will have different brands and they will be not on this list. There will be, of course, a lot of brands because if you type for the M, you will go to the M somewhere. And if you have the M, you will probably also see McDonald's, which is all around the world. So, of course, a lot of brands are in there that other people can use as well, but not all of them. And I do know one brand, Tim Hortons, which is found in Canada, and it's not in the list. So one of the questions that we might get is, can you add the Tim Hortons so I can add my data as well? So this is what I'm going to do. I've created the brands and I did it in a way also testing for me if I was aware of how to do it. And that was correct, people told me. So now I'm going to try to do the same and show you how I do it and record it. So maybe you can just play the video, stop or pause the video when needed, or rewind a little bit and see if you can do it yourself. So I'm going to, for this exercise, I'm just going to add the Tim Horton so it can be used, and that can be used as well, for instance, for creating another material, for instance, the paper and plastic or other kind of stuff. Creating a really new feature is probably too difficult, at least too difficult for me at this moment, but adding a brand or adding a material, that should be possible. So let's start with that one. And let me show you how I did it. If you are in GitHub, and of course, for some people that already is something. Well, what is GitHub? Well, in that case, you probably are not able to do what I'm going to do. You need at least a GitHub subscription or download or account, I guess you could say. So if you don't have that one and it's really something like, well, I have no idea what you're talking about, then this video is probably not for you. If you're a little bit in the area that say, well, I know about GitHub and maybe I even have an account, not sure. Well, try to try to awake your account or create a new account. And if you do, you can probably go to the repository of the litter tagger, the tagger that was meant for OpenLitterMap to do a better tagging experience. And that is the code for what you are seeing on the other screen. In this case, I am going to add a new brand. And the first thing I did was go to the same screen again, because we already have brands, and just look for a special one. For instance, Sugarland. That is a brand. It's not a Dutch brand, I believe, but it's something that I found on Litter, maybe from another country that was dropped here. I don't know. Anyways, Sugarland. So Sugarland is in the list of the brands, and I'm going to find or try to find that brand. So what I'm going to do, normally I would go to the file, but I'm not sure where the file is. So I would use the search bar I'm going to look for sugar brand. Was it sugar brand? I'm not sure it was sugar brand. Starting to doubt now. It was Sugarland. Yeah, Sugarland. While typing it, I realized that was not correct. It was Sugarland. And it should find it, and it does. And it only finds it one time in one file. And I've talked to some of the developers, and that's correct because it is in the text header, and that is meant as a list of brands for in this case. Oops, where did it go? Yep. It is in the file text header, and in the text header, it is how do you call it? It is a list of all the tags that we have, and they are going to be seeded into the database. So when on initializing, or how do you call it, this is the list of all the tags that are there. And now that I click on that file, I'm going to the right place where the file is stored. And then I see there's also an item seeder. So we also have the file with the different items that we can work with. And also with the brands, probably. With the brands, and that brand is the tag seeder, apparently. So this is the list of all the brands that we are having. And in this list, and it's in alphabetical order, there is lacking a Tim Hortons. So what I wanted to do was to insert it here and say, well, I'm going to insert the Tim Hortons. And in order to do so, I have to go to the edit place. And here it says that you must be on a branch to make or propose changes to this file. And that's the way of working. What I'm looking at right now is in the main. That's the real place where the code is being stored. And I can't just do an update and say, well, I'm going to change the code. In order to do so, you have to, well, I guess you could say, create a copy of the code, then do the change that you think is necessary, then give that copy of the code and the updated code that you created to some other people so they can take a look at it. And if they say, well, this is correct, then they are going to, well, take your changes and put them in the real repository. Well, that sounds a little bit technical or cryptical maybe, but that's a little bit of the way of working. You are creating the code, changing that code, giving it to review to some people. They review it and then they do a little trick, and then it's becoming the real code. So your changes will be going to there as well. So in this case, this is not the way to do it. I'm not allowed to do that way. So now I'm going to, let me see how I can do that one, because you have to go to the main and you have to create a branch first. And the branch is the creating the copy of the code. And that was a little bit difficult. And where did I find it? And I wrote some notes for myself as well. And I wrote down create a new branch. Well, that was the problem. How did I do that? These are different branches. And I'm going to create a new branch. So I'm just clicking somewhere, hopefully. Yep, new branch. That's the one. I am in main, so that's correct. I'm going to create a new branch. I have to give it a name and make that a logical one, that if people see the branches, that they know that that branch is created for a specific purpose, and that specific purpose only. So I'm going to create a branch which says add Tim Hortons as a new brand. The source is main, that's correct. I'm going to create a copy of the real one at this moment. Create a new branch. Then the branch should be created. I guess it will be somewhere in this list. Add Tim Hortons, there it is. I just created it right now. It's not behind or ahead of the main because it's still an identical copy. I'm going to that branch itself. So now I can see that I'm at that branch. And if I do the same now and say, well, I'm looking for the, what was it? Sugarland. and it should find it. And of course, in the same file again, but in this case, I'm in the file in the branch that I'm working on. So I go to that file where it did find one of the branch that I was looking for. And if I now go to Tim Hortons and say, well, it should be here somewhere, and I say, I'm going to edit it, that now, no, I did something wrong. Okay, well, not maybe the best way to create an instruction video on how to do it, but this gives a little bit maybe of an insight of what I've been doing and why it was or is not working. Let me see where I am. I'm probably not in the main, or I probably am in the main instead of in the right one. This is the one that I should be in. So now I'm in that one. And I do know, well, let me do it another way. Now I'm in that branch, and I do know that it was in the database, the seeders, in the tag seeder. So I guess or hope that if I click this one, that it should be. It should be. Yeah, not sure. I am in the branch, that's correct. I am in the right place because I knew that it found the file in the tag seeder, which was in LittleTagger database seeders. So if I'm going to database seeders, I can find the tag seeder. I am in that file that is shown here. And now if I click, or at least hover above the edit file, it says edit this file. And now it's okay to do so. So now I'm really in my copy of that file. Well, what I'm going to do is cut and paste, copy and paste. That's most of the time the easiest way to do so. And what I'm going to do is go to the place where Tim Hortons should be. A lot of brands already. And it should be Tim Hortons, so it should be behind this one. And what I'm going to do is just copy that entire line from here. Copy. I'm pressing Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V. So I'm creating a copy. Should be on a new line, of course. And here it is. And then I'm going to write the new brand, which is Tim Hortons, if I'm correct. Delete that one. So this is the brand that will be shown to the people. And as a matter of fact, it should be better if it was Tim Hortons, but I didn't do that on the other ones as well. So this might be the Bulldog, and this might be the energy drink. But I wrote them already without the space, etc. But let me do it the way it actually should have been done. Tim Hortons, it's 2 words, if I'm correct. And if not, well, maybe somebody else can improve it, maybe even with the same video. The slug is also where the same brand is hiding, but in this case it is as simple as possible. So without capitals, without the spaces, without well, strange characters or whatever. So in this case it will be just Tim Hortons. That's it. Tag type ID, it is a brand. Don't have to change that one. Created at now, don't have to change it. Updated it now, don't have to change it. So this basically is it. I've added a new brand. It is as simple as that, but also, and that's always the tricky part, while doing all the other brands, I noticed that there was a line in the beginning, and I'm not sure if it's needed, but I guess so, because otherwise it wouldn't have been there, I hope. And it says that somewhere, brand query, insert brands. No, sorry, it was in the item seeder. Here I created a lot of items and it said factory 107. So when I created all these items and we had a list of 10 items and it was saying 10 and I created 107 items. So, well, intuitively, I said, well, then this should probably be 107 instead of the factory 10 sequence. For the tag seeder, there's no such thing. Apparently, it's not saying how many things it has. So I guess this is the one I've just created or inserted one line, and that's it. No, nothing much to it for the rest. So in this case, I'm just going to say that's it. I'm ready with editing the file, and I guess there was nothing in the bottom. That's it. So I guess I'm ready. And I have to commit the changes somehow. And that is, where is that one hiding? Edit file, edit play over wiki. Nope, no such thing. Download a raw file, there's another one. Download, jump, copy, delete the file. Nope, not going to delete it. Yeah. Code, fork and match. Tim Hortons, that's the one. I'm going to contribute, not a head. There has to be some way to do the commit. Go to file, add file, contribute. Well, like I said, not the best video for how to do this, but it's giving an idea of, well, what you walk into and what I walked into as well. Not going to do those. Pull request, maybe. That might be the one, because I'm going to create, I guess this is the one, pull request, because that's what I'm going to do. I've created the updates that I needed, and I'm going to create a pull request. And a pull request is a request to pull my changes into the main. So I'm creating a new pull request where I'm going to ask the people I guess choose different branches of fork to discuss and review changes. That is not the one. Now, go back one more time. Go to the pull request. I'm going to create a new pull request. That is correct, I believe. I guess this is the one. I'm going to. Did I change the file? Did I save it? Maybe I didn't save it. That might be the case. Well, this was the update for, this was the one for the item seeder. That's not what I was looking for. It should be in the add Tim Hortons as a new brand. That is the one. And it's saying it's up to date. It was in the database. Just going back to make sure that I did save everything in the seeders, in the tag seeder. There, well, let me just search for Horton. It's not in there, so something went wrong, probably. Well, I might have to look my own video to see what happened there, but copy. Oh, nope. Edit file first. Guess I didn't save it or something. basically the idea is to have this video and do some live coding with other people. So if you're thinking about doing something like this, or get into contact with a developer who knows what he's doing instead of me, and just give it a try and let the developer look what you're doing. And in this case, some developer will probably say, oh, you're missing something, you're forgetting to, I don't know, save your work or whatever. I'm just going to repeat what I did. Tim Hortons, what I did before. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here. Tim Hortons, and the rest was not important. I could leave it like that. It is in edit. Is there something like a save mode? I don't know. Commit changes. Oh, that's the one. I probably forgot that one. I've created the new brand. I've created the slug. That was the only one. I didn't need to do something in the top of the text, but I do have to commit my changes. And that's basically the save button. I'm saving what I've done right here. And if you save something, in this case, it's writing the commit message that I've committed or saved, did something on the text header.php. I've updated that file, and here I can write a comment to the people who are going to review it, explaining what I did. And if I did 10 specific things, I can write down 10 things. But in this case, I said, I have added the Tim Hortons brand, so it can be used by people in Canada, because that's the country of that's the place where the Tim Hortons is available, I believe. Well, just leave this like this. I'm really doing it at that branch, and I can press commit changes. So now I have saved my stuff, and now it should be possible to create a pull request. And then again, I have to look where that one is. Pull requests should be here indeed. Less than a minute ago, I've added the Tim Hortons as a new brand, and it's pushed recent pushes just recently. And now I can say compare and pull request. It is in that one. This is the message that I've created. It's able to merge. It's doing some checks. You can see what happened. So in the file on the left is what it used to be, and on the right is what it's now. So the people who are going to do the review can say, well, this is the only change, and this change is correct. This is the way to add a new brand. So I can create a pull request. And if I want to, I can ask specific people, saying, well, I want you to be, nobody's really assigned to it, but I can say, well, I want to assign Gaini and Kevin and Peter Jan, a few of the developers. And then I can say, well, create a pull request. That should be all there is to it. And at this moment, those people get a message saying, well, somebody, and in this case, it was me, did something, and the review is required. And at some point, if somebody reviews it and say, well, this is correct, then you see this changing to review approved or something like that. And if somebody said, well, I'm going to merge the pull request, because that's not possible now, because you need the review first. But if that is done, this become active, and somebody can press that button and say, well, this is correct. Let's push this to master. And then it's become, it is in the master, but it is not live yet. So you will not see it on the website yet. Somebody has to load the files again. And the first time those files get loaded, Tim Hortons will be part of it as well. For now, it's blocked. So it's a matter of waiting for those people to be having time to do that. And that should be not that long, hopefully. I guess that's it. That's basically all there is to it, to add a new brand. So if you're using the app and you found something with a brand that's not on there, just give us a call, give a shout out to say, well, I need this brand, because we, well, likely are able to do it in a couple of minutes, and you are ready to go. And if it's not there, I'm trying to create a brand naming other, so you can always use the other. but the other actually is a workaround for a brand that is missing, and we should be able to add all brands. So if you have something, or if you need to use other, please contact us, because it's a sign that we are missing a brand and we are willing to add that brand. That's it for now. I'm closing my screen. Posting the video anyway. It's not a nice one. There were a lot of questions from myself, but that's normal. I guess that's maybe the most important message. It's normal if you're starting. That is difficult. So don't be alarmed by it. Just give it a try and ask a developer to watch with you, because the developer probably would have asked me, would have said so, that I was doing something wrong. No, it's still, just well, refresh it. It's still required. But of course, it's a working day for some people, so they're probably doing other stuff. That's it for now. Let me know what you think. If you need a different one or better one, completely understand that. So just give me your thoughts. Well, have a nice day. Keep up the good work. See you in the next video.